Most High and Saint Howard Shop, Captain Yara at the Battle Axes of the Most High, coming at you with another Tuesday class, Too Legit to Quit Tuesday. To get edified in the Most High God's name. Give all praise, honor, and glory to our Maker, the Creator, for giving us this allowance to come to the nation of Israel to bring encouraging, edifying words to a nation, a great nation of people. Um, Tonight won't be a long class. Coming at you a little late. Had some things going on, but all praise to the Most High God, we're able to come to you tonight for a short period of time for work. But I know it's kind of late. We'll try to see if a couple of brothers and sisters coming in. Shalom, Rose, the young lioness. Today's class, we're going to identifying nations. Won't be long. We'll land me back. Shalom, Brother Lamar. How you doing out? We'll land me back off the Sunday class with Captain Benaniyah dealing with the Benjamite brother, saying that Esau would be the Saudi Arabian. We want to just touch a few pointers. Nothing too major. We'll definitely touch on Sabbath class and try to bring out a little more understanding Sabbath. Lord willing, if we are able to get the grace to see Sabbath, we'll definitely try to touch on it more. Tonight, we'll just go through a few precepts, lining up precepts with history. Lining up precepts with history. This is exactly what we have to do as a nation of people, man. Why is this that claim to be Jewish, fakes, and black people are the real ones? Well, because Black Zeus, we see through, again, what we've been talking about for the most moment of time through scriptures and through secular history, that the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans are in fact the real Jews. And those that are claiming to be Jews are Jewish, or the fake Jews, right? They are not Jews by bloodline. Anything you put an ISH behind means pertaining to something like. So we know that the so-called Jewish people, Amalek, yarmulke slaps, claim to be the Jews. But the Bible gives us distinct understanding and simplicity of who in fact the Jews are. Many precepts aligned through the Bible show that we in fact are the true Jews of the Bible. So we'll just go through, like I said, a few precepts just to show precepts have to line up with history. Right now, we know that the Bible commands us to line up precept upon precept. We're going to get that. But you cannot understand the Bible precept upon precept without history. This is what the class is going into tonight. You have to have some form of history to understand precept upon precept, right? Let's get there. Let's go to Isaiah right quick. Let's jump it up. Pray brothers and sisters come in. Like I said, it won't be long. We'll try to get a few precepts in just to come to brothers and sisters to give some encouraging words of edification tonight. Let's go to Isaiah 28. Because we, in fact, indeed are commanded to read the Bible a certain way. Christians love to come to us, oh, well, you're reading that out of context and this, that. So one thing that I did like about the brother Sunday is that, he came, first of all, he produced his cause. This is what the Bible tells us to do, right? It was no ill will toward the brother. It was no contention, as we might say. It was just a group of brothers trying to dialogue and get to the bottom of things, right? But one thing that I call him my Ak. One thing that my Ak was doing was pulling precept upon precept, but not with history in it, right? But he was on one path righteous by doing this. Let's go to Isaiah 28 and start at verse 9. So always we want to identify strong and weak points with our nation, right? We don't want to sit here and try to criticize or ridicule anybody in this Bible, right? We want to be what? Stern, straight men, right? We want to give brothers and sisters their exhortation when it's time to be exhorted. And we want to give brothers and sisters understanding when they need more understanding, right? This is what the counsel of the Most High God is about. Before we go there, let's go to Hebrews, though, right quick. I'm sorry, I just thought of a precept. Before we go back to Isaiah, let's go to Hebrews 10. Shalaka family. Y'all stay with me right quick. Hebrews chapter 10, let's start at 23. If I didn't get to see you come in the chat, shalom, brothers and sisters. We're going to get started, like I said, identifying nations. Hebrews 10 and 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke into love and to good works. So, like I said, the first thing we want to do is consider that brother for standing up, for coming into the lion's den, because that brother did come in there. He was prepared to try to, push his belief, his strong belief, right? Like I said, he came and he produced his cause, right? So I want to definitely give honor, praise, and glory to brothers that line up with the scriptures. And when it is time to give brothers exhortation, that's what I want to do, right? So in one matter of instincts of that brother, what he did, I do give him exhortation. It says, and let us consider one another to provoke into love and to good works. So we had a dialogue, but the dialogue that we had was provoking each other to good works, because guess what that dialogue did? It had me, it had Jerubbaal, it had Benaniyah, it had that brother go back and guess what? Get some more studying in, right? Get some more understanding in, right? It had the brothers and sisters online coming to gain more knowledge, right? So it was great for that. It says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as we see the day approaching. So, like I said, we want to definitely exhort brothers and sisters when they do indeed fall into the line of exhortation. That brother came in and he pushed his strong beliefs, man. And like I said, brother did come precept upon precept, but he had precepts and it was lacking a little history, right? Because things that he was going through in precepts, it was not lining up with historical facts, or like we like to say, secular history, right? So Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Maccabees, Memphis. Shalom, Shakar being Israel. How you doing, Bruce? Shalom, man. So Isaiah 28 verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little, and there a little. For with stammering lips and with another tongue will he speak to this people. So definitely we see that the Most High God is definitely giving us the understanding of how to study the Bible, how to read the Bible, how to get the best understanding out of the Bible. And one way you tell us to is what? Is to go precept upon precept. Like I said, I exhort the brother for trying to pull precept upon precept, but then it's key points that you have to put in line to align scriptures together to make sure that precept is upon precept. Let's go to 2 Timothy 2 and 15. So that was great, right? That was great that the brother was trying to use precept upon precept. Wasn't just blabbering a lot of feelings and emotions. He tried to go through the scriptures as much as he could to push the narrative, right? 2 Timothy chapter 2, and let's start at 14. The book of 2 Timothy 2 and 14. Of these things, put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words, not to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers. I wanted to read 14 because there's a key word that I wanted to talk about, and it's called put them in remembrance, right? If I go back and I read the Bible, right? And I go back to the beginning and I read Genesis and I read Deuteronomy and I read Exodus and I read any Bible, any prophet of old. I start reading the Torah and then I go into the Tanakh. Um, I definitely can read that, but it's gonna take a little more than precept upon precept to give me the full understanding of this thing. Now, we go into the book of Second Maccabees. It talks about abridging, right? Abridging the Bible is who we are. We are abridgers of the Bible. We have to bring the Bible into its most contextual form. We want brothers and sisters to be able to see themselves within the scriptures, right? We want to make them align the scriptures with what? Secular history, with events that past happened and things that are happening today. This is how you bring the Bible and make it alive, right? We are the abridgers, and in so many words, or few words, if I may say, we have to bring that aspect to the nation of Israel. We have to make sure that they are getting the most understandable points out the scriptures at each time. Precept upon precept is exactly what the Most High God commands us to do. But let's read 2 and 15 to see what else we have to do outside of precept upon precept, right? I wouldn't tell Israel to do nothing outside of the Bible, right? That's a great point. That is rightly dividing the word. That is a great precept, right? Because that's what we have to do. We have to rightly divide the word, and rightly dividing the word won't just come with you precept upon precept unless you put it together and do this. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. Study to shew thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So I was talking to a brother in the camp, and I asked him, we go do camp 101 every Thursday. And I asked him, I said, well, what you been reading? He said, I haven't been reading so much. He said what I've been doing. And he said, all praise, Shalom, Derek Bryant. How you doing, bro? He said, I haven't been reading as much as I need to. He said, this week I've been studying up on history, right? He's like, I've been looking at a lot of things in history. He was looking at the Maccabean revolt. He was looking at the Hasmonean dynasty. He was looking at all of this in this history time, right? In the time of the Greco-Roman time period, right? When the Romans were taking over out of the Greek captivity, going into the Roman captivity. So he said, I was definitely looking at that more, and he was kind of down on himself about not reading as much. But like I told him, I went to this precept and showed him that, guess what, brothers and sisters, we definitely have to line up history as well. Study, right? You want to study the scriptures, but you also want to study what? You got to study what? Words, etymology, word etymology, right? You got to understand that this word means this in this time. Or when you see Gentile, it doesn't mean this in this context, right? You have to do a lot of studying, and it's not just studying precept upon precept. It's studying what? Historical facts, secular history to add into your knowledge of the scriptures, right? This is what makes a brother a great teacher, or a good teacher, or a so-so teacher, right? Or just an average teacher, because I've seen brothers teach. I've seen so many different brothers teach, and the brothers that catch me the most, that catch my attention the most, are brothers that have precept upon precept, and they have history behind them, right? I'm a captain, but like I said, one of my captains, one of my good friends, Captain Benaniyah, is a great brother with precept upon precept and history behind him, man, right? I cannot lie. Deacon Nathan, IUIC, a great brother that has a lot of history behind himself and precept upon precept. WFI, man, I can't think of her name, man. These brothers have great precept upon precept lined up with history, man, right? And this is what we want to do. When I looked at myself in the mirror as being a teacher of the Most High God, the Bible says what? Know ye not your own self, right? I looked at myself and said, well, I have precepts, right? I do have precept upon precept, but I need to gain more history behind these precepts, right? I need to gain a little more history behind the precepts. Cut the TV. So it went dark. So this is one thing that we definitely have to do. Study to show ourselves approved. Study involves what? Studying the scriptures, studying the word etymology, studying what? History, historical facts, and historical times, right? Because this is a way to prove and understand the nations. This is how you understand the nations, right? This is what helps you in understanding the nations of people, right? And I'm gonna be clear and understanding on this. How would I understand that I was an Israelite if I did not put precept upon precept with secular history, right? Because you have to. When you go to the book of Deuteronomy, right? When you go to the book of Genesis, let's start there. Let's go to Genesis. Right? You cannot have the understanding without history put behind it, right? You just can't. Now, and this is why, because the Bible is history. This book is our history book. You have to line up history with the scriptures. This is history, right? They love to talk about Christopher Killer Columbus and the Vikings and all that stuff there when they don't understand that we were the first Vikings, right? That Christopher Killer Columbus did not, in fact, find and discover anything, is that we were already here, right? But this is history right here. And this history has to be sought out and understand and see it. Because one thing to understand if it's true is that you go and study it to see if it was true, man, right? How do you gain the history? I'm going to tell you, one thing that people don't use, they use for everything else, is damn Google and understanding, right? You want to be able to Google things and see history. They can try to refute things as much as they want to. But what they can't do is hide everything, right? I'm going to tell you, even the so-called white man know that they're Esau, right? We know this. They know this. They know that they're Esau, man. They fighting hard against that, right? That's what they fight hard against. But a lot of them will tell you this day that they know they are Esau, right? They know they are the cunning hunters that the Bible talks about. So Genesis 25 and 20, let's start at 25. We'll just touch it a little bit. Because when we, it's outside, we won't have a long class for this. Let's go to Genesis right quick. Let's start at first, chapter 1 right quick. Genesis 1, and let's start at 26. Sorry, family. You can Google a lot of things, man. You know, you can Google history. You can go find historical books, right? There are books out there that cost more than houses, y'all. I'm going to tell you. And the reason they cost that much is because they have so much understanding in history that lines up with the Bible. This is why they cost so much, man. Because they don't want you to be able to pay for that. Because the more history we get up on ourselves, the more we line it up with the Bible. Right? This is how we put 2 and 2 together. But Genesis 1 and 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Right? And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. So the Lord right here is what's showing you that he's making nations of people, right? He's making people right now, right? The Most High God said, replenish the earth. The Most High God is making people, right? But hold on, let's jump down to Genesis 2 and 7. Genesis 2 and 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So the Most High God here, Shalom, Brother Moses, how you doing now? Is forming a man different from the man that he created, right? Because this man that he formed for what? The dust of the ground. We know we are come from all different shades of brown. We are derivatives of brown, right? We are formed. We are the formed man, right? And the way that we understand this is because he breathed the breath of nostrils into our life. What did he breathe into us? The commandments. The Most High God gave us the commandments from the beginning. He gave us the understanding right here, right? This is what the Lord gave us, the understanding, the commandments right here. These are a different sector of people that are created from Genesis 1 and 26 to Genesis 2 and 7, right? So we see that the Lord is creating, in fact, nations of people. When you jump over to verse 4, we see that Cain and Abel, a lot of people think that Adam and Eve were the only two people on the earth, right? But that's not the truth, right? We know that there were nations of people already at that time because the Lord said it in 1 and 26. He said he created them, male and female, he created them, right? So then you get to Adam and Eve, and you get to them what? Having sons, right? And they have what? Cain and Abel. Now this is important too with dealing with Jacob, Esau, dealing with Esau, Edom, right? Because this is a spirit that the Lord has throughout. This is another thing. You got to have spiritual discernment, right? This is what the Bible talks about in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, I believe. Spiritual discernment. You got to have spiritual discernment because spirits have been around from the beginning. Spirits have been around from the beginning. And this same spirit that Cain had on him is the same spirit that was translated into Esau, which is Edom, right? So Cain and Abel were brothers from what? Adam and Eve, right? Cain ultimately what killed Abel, right? Let's jump over to 2 and read. Let's start at verse like 14. 4 and 14, Shalaki. Genesis 4 and 14. It says, "Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy Shalaki." I gotta start up. Let's start at 11. Genesis 4 and 11. Forgive me, family. Genesis 4 and 11. "And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand." So Cain was found to kill his brother Abel. You know, the Most High God came to Cain and asked him, "Hey, where is Abel?" He said, "How am I my brother's keeper?" He had already killed Abel, right? So now the Most High God is giving him his curse for killing his brother. Verse 12, "When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth." Right? "And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him." So this is heavy because this is the spirit that Esau is dealing with, because Cain was to be a what? A vagabond and a fugitive in the land, right? This is the same thing that Esau has had upon them. They are fugitives and vagabonds. So we jump over to chapter 6, right? And we see that the Lord what? Floods the earth. Right? The Lord floods the earth because of the wickedness. Now we jumping over and we see that what? The Lord is going to replenish the earth with who? With Noah and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? So we know that we are Shemitic. We come from Shem, right? That is one thing that the world hates. I don't want us to understand is that we are Shemitic, that we come from Shem. Esau as well, right? Ham, which is going into what? The Hamitic nations, the Canaanites, going into ultimately the Africans, right? And then Japheth, right? Going into Gog and Magog, going into Russians and Russia and all that part. So we see that the world now is replenished within, the whole world is replenished with 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? So as we go on, the brother brought this precept about Genesis 14 and 7. So I'm going to read, start from the top a little bit. Let's jump to 14:1. Genesis chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elazar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations. King of nations, right? That these made war with Berda, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shabir, king of Zebolim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in Val and Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. So all of these are Hamitic nations, or those that come out of Ham, warring with one another, right? So jump down to verse 6. And the Horites in their Mount Seir and El Paran, which is by the wilderness. Now this is the key point that we want to talk about. The Horites were in Mount Seir, right? Where is Esau from? Esau's from Mount Seir too, right? But right here we see that in fact, before Esau's time, the Horites dwelt in Mount Seir, right? It says, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness, and they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh. Kadesh is in the southern region, right? And smote all the country of the Amalekites and also the Amorites, and dwelt in Hazan Tamar. So the brother tried to make a point and say, well, Amalek is not the same as this Amalek in Genesis 14, right? But in fact, we know that the Lord, replenished the earth, right? With Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So in this point, in this time frame, in this period of time, right, you were being called as the nation you were, as where you resided, right? So Ham was the landmass, right? Well, Ham was a people, but Ham became the landmass, right? The Amalekites were a people in that landmass, right? Before this time, Amalek was already came abroad, right? Now this is the point. He said that this was not the same Amalek, but we want to make sure that we understand that it said the Horites in Mount Seir, right? Esau, and let's jump to 1:36. Genesis 36. Let's jump over to Genesis 36. Genesis 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom, right? And it says Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan. So remember, in 14, these were all Hamitic nations fighting one another, right? And it said they tried to destroy the Amalekites right at that time, right? Now we are seeing that Esau has came about, and now Esau is Edom, right? And it says they took wives of the Hamitic tribes, right, of Canaan. So when Esau took wives of the Hamitic tribes, what Esau is doing is now going back to Genesis chapter 4, right? This spirit is coming upon Esau that they are fugitives and vagabonds. We ran them out of the cliffs and rocks of the Caucasus Mountains, right? Georgia, Russia. So they had no place of life itself, right? This is why Esau has always mixed in and mingled with everybody, right? And this is what it's showing you, that Esau married into Hamitic wives. And what they were doing is trying to take over that landmass and become those people, right? Jump down to 1:36-8. It says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. So Esau dwelt in Mount Seir around this time, right? But hold on. It said back in 14:7 that Horeb, right? That the Horites were in their Mount Seir. It said in their Mount Seir, right? So we see now that Esau has came and took over and made the translation of that fugitive and vagabond, and now Esau is now coming to Mount Seir. It lets you know in 36 that Esau is Mount Seir, right? Now when you jump to, I didn't want to keep going this too long. Genesis 25 shows you that Esau and Jacob were born, right? And we got to go back to that. Because, yeah, we can go precept upon precept, but we have to go, we have to give understanding of history, right? And see exactly who these people are, right? Genesis 25 and 26. In 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, right? So Captain Benaniyah did a great job with the brother showing him this understanding, because what the Bible did is shows you the looks of Esau. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ishmael is already born at this time, right? We get Ishmael and Isaac born before this, right? And Genesis chapter 17, you see? And Esau is a new thing on the earth. The Most High God has to give you understanding of what Esau looks like. But he doesn't give you understanding of what Jacob looks like. Why? Because Jacob looked like all the rest of the people, right? We did not have to get a understanding of what Jacob looked like, because Jacob looked like everybody else. But Esau had to get what? Understanding of who he looked like. It said he was red and hairy all over like a hairy garment, right? And after that came his brother out, and he took the hand of Esau's heel. And he took hold of Esau's heel, right? So the Most High God didn't have to give the understanding of what Jacob looked like, because he looked like everybody else, right? But Esau had a difference in his look. This is why the Most High God had to give you the understanding of what he looked like. And now we have understanding of what Esau is looking like, right? So now we get understanding of who they are and how they are. Now, remember, up in Genesis 25 and 23, it said 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people. 2 nations and 2 manner of people, right? The red calf is not white, right? So it says in 23 that 2 nations and manner of people in thy womb. When you get to 2 nations, that's 2 different people, right? Mannerism, right? This is why they use that word, because now you have to go through history and look at the mannerism of us compared to Esau, right? And our mannerisms are totally different. It said that Esau was what? A cunning hunter, man, right? It said that we were what? Plain men, dwelling in the tents, right? We were plain men as a nation of people. We are not going out there to put any bear heads on our walls that we done went and killed, or deer antlers and horns on our walls, right? We're not out there doing that. That's a trait of Esau, right? But we wouldn't have that understanding in the scriptures unless we really looked into history and seen how they are, and looked at them today as a people and seen how they roll, right? It said that we were what? Plain men. We ain't finna go jump skydive out no damn airplane, man. We plain. We too plain for that. We're not finna do that. There's no thrill in that for us, right? There's no thrill in us almost damn dying. The Bible said, why must you die before your time? In Jacob, we understand it. Nah, we're going to hold on a little bit longer. We don't have a thrill in that, right? The red pottage, eating the red meat. Who does this line up with, right? This lines up with Esau. They eat their damn steak bloody as hell, man. Right? This is history lining up with scriptures, right? You have to have that. Let's jump back to Genesis 36. So we jump down to verse, let's just read verse 8. It says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. So we see that the Horites were in Mount Seir, but now Esau is taking over that same spirit, right? This is what we have to line up with the scriptures. Is what secular history, these spirits, right? That vagabond spirit is on Esau, man. For Esau to kill for Cain to kill his brother Abel, for Esau to want to kill his brother Jacob, right? This is that same spirit, man, that lies within them, man, right? Verse 9, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau, right? And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zophar, and Gatam, and Kinza. And verse 12, and Timur was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Now you see in verse chapter 14, it called them the Amalekites. But here it says that she bare Amalek, right? Now we're getting into that bloodline again, right? Now we're getting into Esau taking over that bloodline. Remember, the Amalekites were a certain area. When you go Genesis 14:7, it's giving you an area, right? It gives you the area of the that people at that time. Shalom, Bilal, how you doing? Now you see in Genesis 36 that it says that Timur bare Amalek, right? The same. These are the same people from the beginning of time, because Amalek has had the same spirit on them from the beginning. We see the Most High God tell Saul to what? Kill Amalek, right? We see the first enemy of Israel once we departed and came out of Egypt was who? Amalek, right? This is why the Most High God told Saul to kill and destroy all of Amalek, because they were a thorn in Israel's behind, man, right? And we see that by Saul not doing that, it gave them still opportunity on this earth, man, right? So Amalek and the Amalekites, the same. They were the same people, right? We see that. History lines up with it. Like we said, when we went through the bloodline or the what they call it, the tree of Esau. We see the tree lines up perfectly that Esau throughout the Bible. Amalek, right, from Haman, all the way through Esther, First Chronicles 36, 1 and 36. We have a lot of precepts to show you that Amalek is in fact the same person, right? That they are not different. These are the same people, right? When we talked about Amalek in 14:7, we really gave landmass at that time, right? That's right. That's exactly what it means. But I wasted, man. This is what Captain Benaniyah definitely was going into with the brother. Like I said, he had great precept upon precept, but not history, right? It's just like, let's go to Deuteronomy 28 right quick. Deuteronomy 28, and let's read 68 right quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, if you wanted to precept that precept without history, it would be kind of tough to precept that precept. Why? Because the first thing you want to get into is, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. So how do we know what Egypt means right here? We go precept upon precept, right? But we also have to go into history, right? Because for a Christian looking at this passage, and they have told us this before, well, that Deuteronomy 28:68 is not talking about y'all because y'all never went into Egypt again. Exactly. Through history of the Bible, we understand that we never went into Egypt again. What that's showing us is that Egypt means something. It's synonymous for another word, right? And unless we go precept upon precept and with history, we'll be lost with it. You understand that? So we go precept upon precept with Deuteronomy 28 and 68 because of Egypt. We know Egypt means what? Bondage, right? Now that's how we go precept upon precept. But then we understand through secular history that yes, in fact, there has to be bondage because the children of Israel, when they left out of Egypt, they never returned, right? This is what I'm trying to get brothers and sisters to understand about identifying nations. You have to have history lined up with it as well, right? It also says, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Right? Now, this has to line up with history because guess what? Have the children of Israel ever went back to Israel? No. Right? If they are, that means the Bible is a lie. That's how you know that those that call themselves the yarmulke slaps with the ISH on them are not the real Jews, because the Lord said that we wouldn't be back into our land again. They should not see their land again. right? We won't see that again until what? Genesis 49, until Shiloh returns, right? This is why the Most High God put the hit out and told us that we will get punished sevenfold times if we try to what? Kill Cain, right? Because that spirit is showing up with Esau. The Most High God is coming to do that. He's coming to tread the winepress alone, right? So this is where history comes into play with precept upon precept, right? Wherefore I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We have not seen our homeland again. Since we left and migrated into Africa and went to the west coast of Africa, there we were sold into our enemies, like the Bible is telling us, and we migrated toward Osiris, which is now America, right? We were dropped off along the coastline, right? And all through America, through the northern and southern America, right? And we see that this scripture lines up with that, but it has to have history behind it, right? Yes, all praises. That's right. That's the precept. Exodus 20:2, man. Right? That is the precept for Egypt, right? It's another one too. I just don't have it in my new Bible. But we definitely see that history has to line up with precept upon precept, right? This is what we're going into. Let's read that out. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Like I said again, you have to look up secular history to understand. That's why the studying comes into play, because Deuteronomy 28 and 68, you have a Christianite coming to you saying, no man shall buy you. Y'all were bought, right? Y'all were bought as slaves, so they don't. But the understanding of that is what? No man would save us out of this condition, right? So we have to have precept upon precept aligned with scriptures to give you understanding and true understanding of the Bible, right? Then you just have many precepts according with Esau that they in fact are the Edomites, right? Let's get a couple. Let's go to Daniel. We want to make sure that we line up history within this thing, right? So go to Daniel chapter 7 and just read 25, man. Well, let's start at 22. We know Daniel gave a great prophecy. No. When you see, and that's another thing the brother tried to pull. He tried to pull that they called David ruddy, right? David was ruddy. Esau was not ruddy. They called Esau red. David was never called red. David was called ruddy. Esau was called red, right? Two different things. Now you go to that's why you got to go precept upon precept and go to history, because they love to go to the blue letter and see, well, ruddy means red. Well, in certain instances, no, it means a lighter skinned brother. That's what David was. David was not dark skinned like most of the other brothers. He was a kind of, like they say, a yellow bone or red bone brother, right? But Esau was never called ruddy. Esau was called red, right? That's because they had no melanin, right? No, it's not. It's not the same thing. That's what I'm trying to show, brothers and sisters, that it's not the same thing. Red means red. Ruddy means in color, in context, right? This is the thing. This is why you have to go precept upon precept and have history and have what? Spiritual discernment. Because we know for a fact that King David came out of what? The lineage of Jacob, right? We know that his father was a dark-skinned man. We know that the same dark-skinned man, which is our King, Christ, Yahushua, came out of that same lineage. And they give the same understanding of what Christ looked like, right? A dark-skinned man. So we know that Esau has many attributes about him. And one of them is that he got a death row spirit. I'll praise. And one of them is that he was red, right? Red and ruddy are not the same thing in that instance, in that context, right? You have to read the Bible for context. You can't just see this, go to the blue letter and say, well, ruddy mean red. No, this ruddy meant what? a redder skin tone. He was a light-skinned brother. David was a lighter skin tone than us darker brothers, right? Daniel 7:22. Until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came when the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. Now we know David gave great understanding of this of his interpretation or his dream. We've seen that David's interpretation has definitely came true all the way up to now, right? Every captivity, right, that David pronounced, right? You know, we went through the Egypt captivity. Then, you know, the northern kingdom went through Assyrian captivity, which we both did, the northern and the southern, the Babylonian, right? And now David is giving you the understanding of every kingdom from thenceforth, right? Babylonian, Persian, Mede, Greek, and the Roman Greco, right? And we seen that the 10 toes in that parable or that dream that David dreamed was going into what? Rome and United States taking over Rome, right? Precept upon precept shows you that, right? Those 10 toes going into the what? The 10 common markets, the EU, right? We don't see 10 common markets in Saudi Arabia or with the Ishmaelites, right? They don't have 10 common markets that are flourishing right now with Luxembourg and England and all these places, right? You don't see that, man. Is that a question, Byron Bull? Yes, we try to keep all commandments to the best of our abilities. Verse 23, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. Right now, that fourth kingdom that was going into was the Roman kingdom, right? Right now, America uses the Roman kingdom and takes this is what every nation did. When the Ethiopians were taken over by Assyria, when Egypt was taken over, so like when Egypt was taken over by Assyria, the Assyrians used their method, Egypt method, and just made it better, right? And added theirs in. When the Babylonians took over the Assyrians, they used their method and just added theirs in and made it better. And the same thing happened. When America took over the Roman Greco period, what they did was use still, that's why we still use what? The Roman Greco, all these things, man, that we deal with from the Catholicism and everything. This comes from the Roman time, right? The whitewashing of our image of Christ, right? That's from the Roman time, right? Where they use it and they put their own into it after that, right? So it says, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces, man. Verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. Now you show me 10 horns in Saudi Arabia. You show me 10 horns that are over there in with the Ishmaelites. Any 10 markets that are over there flourishing. You don't see any merit trading going on over there in Iran in that area, right? Like we looked it up on Google the other day, right? None of those Ishmaelite countries have nuclear warfare except Iran, Israel, right? And Israel is what? Invaded by what? America, right? The Balfour Declaration, 1948. They put the heathen back into that land, right? And it's still not their land. 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. Verse 25. This is the point. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Is the Ishmaelites wearing out the saints? Is Ishmael wearing us out right now? Who is wearing us out, man? Whose jobs are we going to making their jobs flourish, man? Whose jobs are we doing? We are no longer under the lawful salvation. Hey, Maccabees Memphis, you ain't lying. That's why women need to be quiet sometime, man, right? Keep their silence, man. We are keepers of the law, right? Nikiah, you have to have more understanding than that. The Most High God gave us law, statutes, and commandments that we must complete until he sends Christ to return, right? So whose jobs are we working? We working Esau. Name another. It said they shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Who is wearing us out, man? Esau is killing us, man. Right there, killing us today, man. And think to change times and laws. What is Esau doing? They giving you this what? This one thing they doing. What's that? What's it called when they give you 6 o'clock now? The sun go back and forward. What is that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Daylight savings and things like that. They trying to. We didn't have that mess going on back in the day, right? We didn't have no damn daylight savings. They trying to think to change times and laws, man. They out here putting homosexuality on every TV show, on every channel. You got books in elementary schools that deal with sex, man, right? And things of that nature, man. That is Esau. That's the so-called white man. He is running this thing, man. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time, right? But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. So that judgment is going to sit, right? Verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Hereunto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. So like I said, I just wanted to touch this for a little bit. Like I said, we'll definitely touch it Sabbath and go into it a little more. I thank brother and sister for tuning in. We see that 27 and 28 lets us know that in fact, Israel, we will rise again. We are rising right now. We will come back into our rightful ownership, which is on top of the planet. When we bring out, or we try to bring out understanding of the Bible, we want to make sure that we're dealing in the right spirit, that we have our things lined up, right? That we try to make sure that we have precept upon precept, also with history to line up with this thing, right? And that's what the class was about, man. We want to identify nations through history and through the spirit, man, right? I know y'all jump on Nikki, y'all sister. You got to make sure that you go on somebody else's page if you're trying to teach. We're not to be taught, right? The Bible says that a woman is not permitted to speak. They should be quiet. Titus lets them know that they should be in behavior, in the certain behaviors that they are in. They should be in behavior to what? Being quiet, to listening, teachers of good things, teachers. Yeah, you go. You trying to teach right now. You done pulled you done said 8 things that we should be doing. Now you telling us that you the spirit and we the flesh. You're not. If you want to help us, sister, be in order. Because when a nation sees our women in order, that shows them that we are in order. So if you want to help, sister, say she's trying to help. If you're trying to help, stay in order. How about that, sister, right? If you want to help, ask questions, right? Don't put yourself out here as portraying yourself to be teaching or trying to show us anything, right? And guess what? We got sisters that's cold with the scriptures. We got sisters in our camp, man, that go hard with the scriptures. But Titus shows them what they got to do. They got to be in behavior, right? In according of being a prophetess, which is what? Teachers of the younger women. Go teach the younger women how to be a wife. Go teach the younger women how to obey their husbands and love their husbands and stay in order when a man is teaching, right? That's what they should be teaching, man, right? So with that, brothers and sisters, I say I'll praise to the Most High God. I'm going to give you all a log before I get out of here. I can't stay long. I got to go to work, brothers and sisters. And I came to you late. I apologize on that. But through the spirit of the Most High God, we'll definitely touch on it on the Sabbath. Y'all stay safe. If y'all out here in this weather and in these streets, make sure that y'all be safe. I pray for traveling grace for each brother and sister and endurance to endure these tough times. The roads might be slick out there. So y'all just be in prayer for one another, watching over Israel as a whole. Let's go to Leviticus 19. We always say keep the laws of the Most High God. Let's go to 19 and I won't stumble at block 14. was we don't want to be a stumbling block to the nation, right? We don't want to stumble. What's up, Hebrew Elevation? I was just talking about y'all. That's the brother that I was talking about that we had the dialogue with, dealing with the brother on Esau, right? Being the so-called white man or not, right? And you got in here kind of late, Doc. We'll definitely touch on the Sabbath some more. We gave a little understanding. Yeah, it was. So hopefully we can, pick each other brains some more, and we can try to get each other on the right path, man. This is what the nation needs, right? So like I said, I gave you exhortation, brother, because you came in here, you came in the pack of lions, and you tried to fight in that thing, man. And I definitely got love for you on that, Doc. Iron sharpen iron. So keep pushing. I keep learning. We want to give you the side of history more. But like I said, I keep doing a great job with your precepts. Just try to bring it all together and home it in, so we can give Israel what they definitely need, right? Which is the truth, right? Leviticus 19 and 14. This is the law for the day. Thou shalt not curse to death, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy God. I am the Lord. So we don't want to put a stumbling block before Israel, family, right? We want to make sure that we try to give the most proper understanding and edification that we possibly can. Brothers and sisters, if y'all have any questions, concerns, feel free to hit us up. Sunday classes, Benaniyah definitely will bring you on, and you can have a little understanding and debating if you want to, like we did with Hebrew Elevation Church. We went on a heavy topic for Israel, man, right? Identifying Esau. So this is what we'll touch on this whole week. I appreciate you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in class. Yeah, hit me up, Brother Bilal. I'm finna go to work, but you definitely can call me. I'll be free. With that, Israel, I say Kwam Yashuala. I definitely pray for each other, that we stay strong, that we endure these wicked kingdoms that are over top of us right now, and then we get back to our rulership. With that, Israel, I say Shalom.